My friend, let me share my little video here. What's going on? Why am I not visible? Start my video.
There you are. You're in your office at work?
Let me do a background so I don't get in trouble. Put me on timeout, madam.
No,
Let me
no.
see it.
I think you can be there as long as there's not a lot of people. That's the rule.
Yeah, well, I think so's
Now
back. Yeah. So let me just.
Yeah, that's okay. We'll just chat real quick. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. And yourself?
You know, I love teachers more than ever. I love the institution of school more than ever. You know,
Gives you another appreciation, huh?
I was already appreciative, but now, the kids need it. It's so much more than academics. It's social emotional learning, socializing, following rules. I mean, you're getting them ready for society because I'm a pushover as a parent. Clearly,
Right.
I need you guys.
How's Vinny doing? How's he holding up?
He's loving it. I think, you know, being a high schooler, we prepare these kids so well already to be in some kind of virtual format, at least you guys do, that it's almost like second nature, turning things in. Um, so it's good.
Yeah, I think they surprised us a little bit. I think we maybe underestimated because they're so part of that generation. They're so techie
Right.
that the transition part of sending things online. And I think that age group is just so curious and how to figure out stuff with technology, and we kind of maybe took it for granted, but I'm glad he's doing good.
Yeah, but I don't think you took it for granted. I think you I think especially the charter world and the group you work with have been preparing these kids to go on virtual because you knew what was coming, dual enrollment and things like that, research.
It was so crazy how it just
yeah.
It was like, wow.
I know.
I'm working now more than I have ever, I think.
Me too. I think that's a lot of people are working. And that's why I wanted to connect with you, because I host a weekly principals chat to share best practices. So when I see something that really calls my attention and I'm like, wow, this is really great, I wish more people did that. I immediately thought of you because I thought your virtual parent academy that went from brick and mortar, and from one day to another, there was a notice about AP exams and a virtual parent academy, and then there's the mental wellness. So you guys really shifted on a dime, not only serving kids but serving parents. And I wanted you to just kind of talk about that. First of all, for the people who don't know, tell us about the kids you serve and the community you serve.
So I serve a 612 academic career academy school. We're in Hialeah, which is the fifth largest city in the state of Florida with over 250,000 residents. Our students are predominantly Hispanic. We have a 98% minority rate, of which also about 90% of our kids qualify for free and reduced meals. So we are in a very urban area, and very blue-collar workers, hardworking parents. Some of them may lack some of an education, not because they want to, because they came to this country to work, and really their number one responsibilities and their priorities is to put food on the table and put a roof over their children and their families' heads. So we take great pride at COHIA in working with our parents and our families and making sure that we can educate them on topics that are relevant to them and speak to them, and are informative to them, and are kind of can help them as parents, and can help them as and help them be further educated in part of what our school culture, our school community is about.
Right. And that leads me into the question about Parent Academy, because I know you've had them for a long time, your Parent Academy, but you switched it up to a virtual.
Yeah, one of our many initiatives is to make sure that the same information that we communicate to kids, that we can communicate that same information to another stakeholder, the most vital stakeholder, which is the parents. So there's that connection of what's going on, within the walls, during the bell, and then the parents also can stay connected by giving us the opportunity to educate them on those topics. Since they can't be here physically during the day, we select topics based on a needs assessment, where we survey our parents, and also on relevant topics regarding our school culture. So we do those once a month for our parents, based on different themes. And when we went through this whole transition of virtual learning, at one point I thought to myself, what about the parents?
Right.
What's going to happen with our parents? We're putting so much of an effort in communicating with our students and on our website and on social media. But what about the platform where we just dedicate it to them? And that kind of dawned on me. And, I sometimes think, like a lot of great leaders that I surround myself with, is that you're kind of building the plane while you're flying it. So the first thing I said was, well, pick the Parent Academy date. And we chose a day. What's going to be a topic? I don't know. We'll pick the day and we will work towards that. And we will figure that out. So that's kind of how it all came to be, that I wanted to provide something for our parents and a platform for them that help them, not only as parents of our children, but could just help them as humans and help them cope with different things that they may be going through. And that was kind of the whole drive behind it all, that the same thing that we did for them before, we can still do it now, transitionally, and in a different platform, but it can be still done. So I did not want to not be able to offer something for them.
Right. And that was offered incredibly quickly, because you've had two in a short period of time already. One about AP and the last one about mental health. Can you give us a recap of the mental health, mental wellness one that you just did?
Yeah, and the one that we just recently did, the topic came up because, I can control and I know what's going on my side of the screen.
Mm-hmm.
But when I see all these little boxes and all these different Zoom meetings that Lynn, both you and I have attended, and when I'm doing my virtual walkthroughs, I don't know what's happening behind every single one of those boxes. And what really sparked this topic for us was when we found out that one of our students, both her parents, had tested positive for COVID-19. And she was a single child. And basically the child transitioned to being the one taking care of the home, the one taking care of the parents. So she transitioned from being supported by her parents to now her kind of being the parent and helping her parents as they both tested positive. And it kind of just brought something in all of us, that we started having a conversation in our leadership council, and we were saying that we don't know what's happening on the other side of that screen. So how can we help? What can we do? So that kind of started that conversation of talking about coping with stress, coming up with strategies, emotional well-being, sharing different resources and apps that are available to help with mental health. And kind of that kind of became the driver of our conversation, and kind of that's how we put our presentation together. But really, if you look back, what it was is that we don't know what's happening behind the screen.
Right.
What information can we share? And we might not be able to reach everyone, but if we can reach one person and one family, we've done our job. So that became the driving force and the vision for that presentation. And that's kind of like our student services department worked along with our assistant principal and kind of put something together to help our parents during these stressful, for some parents, very stressful days,
Right. Have you gotten any feedback from parents?
Well, parents love it because I think about it. You're a parent, and let's say you're laid off, or you're at home, or you're at home and you don't work till later, and you're seeing your child on all this Zoom, and everybody's talking about Zoom, but then you don't have the opportunity to go to Zoom. And then when you're finally invited to Zoom, you get to participate in the activity and in the same platform that your child's been participating in for the past 3 weeks. So I know we had over 100 participants in the first one we launched, which was really like we put so much energy on navigating through the system that we're like, look, let's make sure we know and teach our parents how to navigate through the system. And we spoke about our new platform, Hialeah, and how it's a one-stop shop for all these educational applications that students use for learning, and also how they get links to their classrooms, etc. And then we talked about academics and AP. The exam is transitioning to a 45-minute exam,
right?
Completely different from what they were going to see, what they were preparing for. So we had to educate the parents of those advanced placement students. And then the last one was, like you said, on coping with stress and mental health, and what strategies, and emotional well-being, what strategies can our student services department share with our parents to help them out. And then we have 2 more coming down the pipelines, and we're going to be working also with Senator Diaz, and we're going to do a COHIA town hall where we're going to invite him and then invite all our parents, and kind of he's going to speak about all the information that he knows at the state level and stuff that he knows maybe that's coming down the pipeline at the district level, and kind of share with our parents. So we want, our parents are constituents, and we want them to be educated to not only what's going on locally, but what may be coming down the pipelines at the state level.
Okay. I love that, because the schools have really taken on this supportive role, more than oversight of just academics, but a complete, we used to talk about the whole child, but now you're talking about the whole family.
Yeah.
Important. Okay.
Yeah, you gotta talk about both. You gotta, when you cultivate a culture like we've done here at COHIA, like, you walk through the hallways, and the one common word the majority of the entire student body will tell you is it's a sense of family. Family takes care of family. It's family's not just gonna take care of the sibling. You got to take care of mom and dad, and you got to take care of an uncle or a grandma. So we just want to make sure that our COHIA family is well taken care of, and that at whatever capacity we can provide as much information to not only the kids, but we can provide as much information to the families and the parents, and even the abuelitas. They jump on a Zoom call. I know we had a couple last night.
That's great. So any tips for principals? I would think that, number one, look at your own experts, because I think internally you looked at your experts. You didn't look outside. You said, I've got student services, and I've got my counselors, and you put them to work on this. What other tips would you give principals who are thinking about launching this kind of initiative?
My tip would be, don't be afraid to take the leap. Feel free to think outside the box. Things are not going to come out perfect. And I'll give you a true testimony. Our first parent virtual night was a success, because we had over 100 participants, but we had some security breaches, and we had some folks come in and impersonating others, and putting inappropriate stuff on the presentation. And we had to cope with that. Our parents were very understanding of it, but that didn't stop us. That didn't prevent us. What Dad said to me is, all right, let's gather our troops. This is something that happened. How can we work together to not position ourselves from this happening again in the future ones? So don't be afraid to learn from your mistakes. Your mistakes are going to happen, and some of your biggest successes are going to come from your failures. And, I wouldn't say that our first parent night was a failure, and I wouldn't say it was a mistake, but we had some barriers put in front of us that we had to overcome, and we got past them, and we worked together, planned even harder for the next one, and again, it was a huge success by the amount of parents that were attending. So my tip to principals is like, you may not have a perfect plan, but don't be afraid to take a leap, take a chance, and while you have something scheduled, you have that amount of days or that amount of weeks to finalize, the entire plan into when you implement on the day of, for example, parent night. So I kind of did it backwards. I picked the date, and then I had 2 weeks to work on what the presentation was going to look like, what the security features, who were going to be the presenters. So, I did it backwards. I planned the day, and then I gave myself those 2 weeks to put it onto fruition. So, and don't forget to, we're here. Everybody has a calling in life. Mm-hmm. My calling was to be an educator and serve the community of Hialeah. And that's kind of what my legacy will be in my life. Other people contribute in other capacities, but that was my calling, to be able to serve my community where I was born and raised, and try to leave it a little bit better than I found it. So, don't be afraid, take challenges, take risks. And what's the worst that can happen? You fail, you learn from it, and then you make yourself better, and you plan ahead and become even more successful. So think outside the box, be innovative.
Well, thank you, Carlos. I really appreciate it. I will include your email in case another principal wants to reach out and see more of what you guys are doing. But I really appreciate your time.
No, thank you for having me. I hope you and the family are safe. Give my regards to the big Vincent. I'm sure he's probably like 2 inches taller than I last saw him. So, no, thank you for all you do. And, on behalf of Cohia and its parents and its students, thank you for all the work you do in promoting all the positive things that we're doing in charter schools. And more importantly, how you're getting that information out to different communities throughout the state of Florida. I think the Alliance is doing phenomenal work, and I know having you on part of that team and being able to educate us and read upon your bulletins and everything, that the emails that come out to us, it's very helpful. So I know I speak not only on behalf of Cohia, but all our charter schools. We're very thankful to you for your work and the leadership of Mr. Arza with the Alliance, and we look forward to continuing to be a good partner, and we wish you much success, and be safe, and until we see and hug each other once again. For now, air hugs.
Air hugs, you're right. All right. Thanks, Carlos.
All right, Lynn. Good to see you. Stay safe.
All right. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.